1. The Lean Startup Concept. The Lean Startup methodology is designed to address the major challenges faced by new ventures: uncertainty, limited resources, and market dynamics. The approach emphasizes testing ideas quickly and adjusting based on real-world feedback. Rather than relying on assumptions or outdated business models, it draws inspiration from the principles of lean manufacturing, especially from the Toyota production system, which aims to reduce waste and improve efficiency. One of the central tenets of lean startup is to focus on creating value through experimentation. Rather than committing to a business plan based on assumptions, entrepreneurs are encouraged to start with a simple idea, test it quickly with customers, and learn from the results. This constant cycle of feedback and improvement helps businesses navigate uncertainty and refine their products to better meet market demands. A core element of the lean startup methodology is the concept of innovation accounting, which encourages startups to focus on learning and progress rather than traditional financial metrics like revenue and profit. This shift in focus helps startups measure success based on the ability to learn and adapt to market needs rather than simply aiming for profitability in the early stages. Key idea: the lean startup concept is all about launching a simple version of your product, an MVP, to test assumptions, collect customer feedback, and iterate quickly. It minimizes risk by continuously validating and adjusting your product based on real-world insights. 2. Build, measure, learn feedback loop. The build, measure, learn feedback loop is the cornerstone of the lean startup methodology. This iterative cycle consists of 3 stages: build, measure, and learn. It's the process through which startups can quickly test hypotheses, learn from real customer experiences, and make data-driven decisions to improve their products. Build. The first stage is to build the MVP. The MVP is not a final product, but a version of the product that contains the most essential features needed to test the key assumptions about your business. The idea is to get a product into the hands of users as quickly as possible, even if it's not perfect, so you can start learning from their feedback. The MVP is essentially an experiment designed to test the core hypotheses behind your business idea. For instance, if you believe that there is demand for a new type of productivity app, instead of building a full-featured version, you might launch a very basic app that has only 1 or 2 features. This will allow you to test your assumptions with real customers and gather data about their needs and expectations. Measure. Once the MVP is launched, the next step is to measure how customers respond. Startups should focus on collecting data through surveys, interviews, usage analytics, or sales data. This helps to validate or invalidate the assumptions made when designing the MVP. The key here is to track the right metrics that provide actionable insights into whether the product is meeting customer needs. The challenge is to move away from vanity metrics, such as the number of downloads or visitors, and instead focus on metrics that reflect genuine customer engagement. These could include customer retention rates, active users, or specific behaviors such as whether users are completing key tasks within the app. Learn. The final step is to learn from the data you've gathered. By analyzing the feedback from customers, startups can gain insights into whether their assumptions were correct and whether the product is on the right path. This learning can lead to one of 2 outcomes. Either the startup will decide to pivot, make a significant change to the product or business model, or persevere, continue refining the product in its current direction. Key takeaway: the build, measure, learn loop allows entrepreneurs to test their hypotheses quickly, gather real customer feedback, and decide whether to pivot or persevere based on the results. 3. Minimum Viable Product MVP. The Minimum Viable Product MVP is a fundamental concept in the lean startup methodology. An MVP is the simplest version of your product that allows you to test the most critical assumptions about your business idea with minimal resources. The goal of an MVP is not to launch a polished or perfect product, but rather to create something that can be used by real customers so that you can learn as much as possible. The MVP should contain only the essential features necessary to test your core hypotheses. For example, if you are creating a new social media platform, your MVP might just be a simple version with a single feature, such as the ability to post photos. This allows you to test the basic idea of whether people are interested in using your platform for sharing images before investing in a fully featured app. A good MVP is designed to quickly validate or invalidate your business assumptions. Once you've launched the MVP, you can gather feedback from real customers and use that data to decide how to improve the product. Key takeaway: an MVP is a tool for learning, not a final product. It helps you test your assumptions quickly, gather feedback, and refine your product. 4. Validated learning. Traditional business metrics like revenue or profit aren't always useful in the early stages of a startup. Instead, validated learning focuses on measuring progress through experiments and real customer feedback. Startups need to test their hypotheses to see if their product solves a real problem for customers. Validated learning allows entrepreneurs to gather data about how customers interact with their product and whether it meets their needs. This learning process is ongoing and helps businesses adjust their product, marketing, and business strategies based on real-world evidence. For example, if you launch a new feature in your app and customers do not use it as expected, that's a valuable learning experience. It tells you that your assumption about customer interest was wrong, and you can now adjust the feature or pivot your product direction to better meet customer needs. Key takeaway: validated learning shifts the focus from assumptions to real-world data. It helps entrepreneurs make informed decisions based on actual customer behavior, rather than guesswork. 5. Pivot or persevere. After gathering feedback from the MVP and analyzing the results, startups must decide whether to pivot or persevere. Pivot if the data indicates that your current approach isn't working, perhaps the product doesn't meet customer needs, or the market is smaller than expected. It's time to pivot. Pivoting means making a fundamental change to the product, business model, or strategy. For instance, a startup that initially created a social media app for pet owners might pivot to focus on a specific niche, like pet care for senior animals, if that's where the demand lies. Persevere. On the other hand, if the data shows that the current product is on the right track, the next step is to persevere. This means refining the product, continuing to test new features, and working towards scaling the business. Perseverance is necessary when the data supports your initial assumptions and shows that you're moving in the right direction. Key takeaway: the decision to pivot or persevere should be based on validated learning. Pivoting doesn't mean failure. It's a necessary part of the process to align the product with market demand. 6. Innovation accounting. Startups often face challenges when it comes to measuring progress in the early stages. Traditional financial metrics like sales or profit are not always relevant in these early stages. That's where innovation accounting comes in. Innovation accounting measures the progress of a startup based on metrics that reflect learning and customer validation. For example, instead of focusing on revenue, startups might track how quickly they are validating assumptions, how many customers are engaging with the product, or how fast the product is improving based on feedback. By measuring these metrics, entrepreneurs can make informed decisions about where to focus their efforts and how to allocate resources. Key takeaway: innovation accounting provides a framework for measuring startup progress based on actionable metrics rather than traditional financial indicators. 7. Continuous deployment and split testing. Another key concept in lean startup is continuous deployment. This is the practice of releasing product updates or new features frequently to gather customer feedback quickly. The faster you release, the faster you can test new ideas and adjust your product. Along with continuous deployment, split testing, A/B testing, allows startups to test different versions of a product or feature to see which one performs better with customers. For example, a startup might test two versions of their landing page, one with a blue background and one with a green background, to see which design results in higher conversion rates. Key takeaway: continuous deployment and split testing allow startups to refine their products quickly and make data-driven decisions based on customer behavior. 8. Focus on customer needs. One of the most important principles in the lean startup is the focus on customer needs. Entrepreneurs must focus on solving real customer problems instead of trying to create features that they think will work. The startup's goal should be to find a problem that customers care about and build a product that addresses it. Through the lean startup process, entrepreneurs are encouraged to engage with customers early and often. This can include user testing, customer interviews, or surveying early adopters. By gathering real-world feedback, startups can create products that truly meet customer needs and create real value. Key takeaway: focus on solving customer problems, not on building features. By listening to customers, you can create a product that they are willing to pay for. 9. Lean thinking, eliminate waste. The lean startup methodology is based on the concept of lean thinking, which emphasizes the elimination of waste in all forms. Waste can take many forms, such as waste in time, spending too much time building features that customers don't need; waste in money, investing resources in ideas that have not been validated; waste in resources, overbuilding or creating complex systems that aren't necessary at the early stage. Lean thinking encourages startups to focus on building only what is necessary and to continuously refine and improve their processes. The goal is to avoid unnecessary work and focus on activities that add real value. Key takeaway: lean thinking helps startups focus on value-added activities and eliminate waste, which is critical for resource-constrained startups. 10. Conclusion: the power of learning. At the core of the lean startup is the concept of continuous learning. Startups are not just about launching products. They are about learning from customers, iterating quickly, and adapting based on real-world feedback. By embracing a mindset of learning and improvement, entrepreneurs can navigate the uncertainty of the early stages of a startup and increase their chances of success. Key takeaway: the lean startup methodology teaches that learning quickly and adapting based on customer feedback is key to building a successful business. Call to action: if you are planning to start a business, remember the core principles of the lean startup. Start with a minimum viable product, MVP. Continuously build, measure, and learn from customer feedback. Make decisions based on data, not assumptions. By following these principles, you can reduce risk, save resources, and increase the likelihood of creating a product that truly meets customer needs. The lean startup methodology is a powerful tool for any entrepreneur looking to succeed in today's fast-paced business world.